Ladies and gentlemen, Valerie Perrine. Here, come on. I walked up there because I thought that maybe you might have trouble coming out into the light coming down those stairs. That's all. How are you?
I did stairs for years in Vegas. It wasn't difficult.
That's right, too. I want to talk to you about that in a minute because you were in Vegas as a showgirl as well, yeah? First question, of course, which one you've probably been asked about 87 million times, but the arguments here today were extensive.
Perrine?
Yeah. Incredible. What is it supposed to be? Which is it?
Well, let's see. The original name is Perrine. It's French.
Yeah.
Grandpa changed it to Perrine. I was raised in a convent in Japan with French sisters, and they were Perrine. I was Perrine. And I went back to the States. I was Perrine. I moved back to Paris. I was Perrine. So for me, it's the same problem, because all my life I grew up Perrine.
So it's a toss-up? It could be either one.
Either.
Right. I got you. What about you must have had a pretty hectic schedule getting here. Now, you arrived, what, day before yesterday, and there was a gigantic party, I understand.
Yesterday I arrived. And I was, 18 hours on the plane, and then I arrived no, I'm not in Sydney. Where am I?
You're in Melbourne.
Oh, I arrived in
You're in Melbourne.
Sydney at 10 in the morning, did interviews all day long, and then we had the premiere last night and a party afterwards.
How was the party? Was it Alan Carr's party?
I didn't go. I went home and went to bed.
Is that right? You missed his big party.
Well, I walked in and I said hello to some people, and then I walked out. I was just too tired. I get tired very easily, and I think ladies should have their rest. I was asleep just about 5 minutes ago.
Were you?
Yeah.
Are you awake now?
I don't think quite. If
Not
I
yet.
seem a little dumb or stupid, it's I'm not awake yet.
I wish I could do that. You say the same thing. It was interesting to read in your biography today that you are a Texan,
Right.
a born in Texas Texan, but you left
Right.
there, when you were 3 years old or
Right.
something, yeah. To go to live in Japan.
But I play Texan in my next movie. It's going to be interesting.
Do you talk Texan?
Well, yeah, I guess I'll have to, won't I?
Yeah. Well, I reckon, man. I sure reckon. Is it a modern-day Western or an old-fashioned Western?
No, it's modern day with Jack Nicholson. It's about the legal aliens, Mexicans coming over the border. Heavy drama again.
Which what do they call it in America? They call them wetbacks or something. Wasn't that the
That's-
name they had for them?
Gringos,
illegally?
wetbacks, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You spoke fluent Japanese. I was interested in reading it at 7.
Well, at 4. It was, I learned Japanese the same time I learned English, but I've forgotten it. Don't ask me to say
No, I
it.
wasn't going to ask you to say anything. I'm saying it's just interesting. Why would you have a Japanese housekeeper or something? In
7 of
Japan?
them.
7 Japanese. What did your dad do?
He's a high-ranking officer in the occupational forces.
Really? What,
Yeah.
Army or Air Force or what?
Army. I'm an Army brat. Daddy was a lieutenant colonel right after the war, so when we moved over there, we didn't have too many problems.
Oh. Well, then you wouldn't have had too much adjustment to make with moving around that an actress has to go through.
No, as a matter of fact, I think it helped an awful lot because I have no worry about tomorrow. I mean, the fact that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, I've grown up with, so it's works out well.
Okay. Now, from the college thing, you quit college because you didn't like school, obviously.
Right.
What was wrong with school?
I knew what was going to happen the next day.
Is there something I don't know about? What was going to happen the next
Well,
day?
you get up and go to class. I found
Oh,
it
I
quite
see.
boring.
Yeah.
But since then, I've gone back to school. When I was working in Las Vegas, I went to the University of Nevada and took French while I was working at night.
Working at night in Las Vegas is not all it's cracked up to be. A lot of people
Oh.
think it's a very glamorous life there. I know when I was there, I found it extremely boring. After you've gone to see everybody who's in the shows that are in there for that month, that week, whatever it is, there isn't much to do. It must be terrible being a showgirl, though.
Well, it sounds awful. It's very jaded, but when you've seen Frank Sinatra 20 times, Frank Sinatra becomes boring. And it happens with every entertainer. It's true. You see them all. You see the greatest entertainment in the world. And you see it 20 times, each entertainer. Then what do you do?
That's right, yeah.
I went back to the books. I ended up...
Well, what about working as a showgirl? Was it any of the topless business or just a dancer?
No, I was a plain showgirl for about 6 years, and then they decided to go topless, and I said, I won't do it unless you make me the star of the show.
And they wouldn't do it?
They did it.
They did it?
Yeah.
Yes? And you were the topless star of which show?
The Leader de Paris in Las Vegas.
No wonder it was such a big hit. Yeah, that's it. What about seven nights a week, though, girls have to work?
7 nights a week, and I got 5 days off every 3 months. And
That's-
you worked whether you got sick or, I mean, you know, you worked regardless.
You know what always amazes me about, now you're pretty individualistic with your looks, but of course you've had the opportunity to do films. But most of those girls, if you saw them walking in there, you wouldn't even think they were showgirls. By the time they finish in there, they get in, they all have the same makeup on, they all end up with the same face, the same costumes, the same everything. I mean, it looks just like a, it's supposed to look that way, I suppose, but...
Yeah. It's, they want that look, yeah.
And where is home now?
Los Angeles.
Yeah? And do you...
Or the Sydney Hilton.
Well, I didn't mean tonight. No, I meant, yes, I did. Yeah. Home is L.A.
Yes.
Hey, hold it down for a minute. I was just geographically trying to get my location here. Now, hang on a second. Of course, Valerie Perrine, staying in shape is very important to you, obviously, at least from what
Do you know what I did today? I had like 2 hours off, and I went at the Sydney Hilton. They have a place called John Valentine's, which is
A
wonderful.
fitness club downstairs?
Yeah, I took an exercise class, and I'm going back tomorrow. I'm taking another one, and then I'm taking one every day that I'm in Australia. They're
We
great.
we talked about this exercise thing with someone else that was out here before, but I was astounded in that movie with Barbara Streisand, where Ryan O'Neal is the fighter. And they had an exercise class thing that they did in that, and I was astounded at those. Did you see it by any chance? No, she had wonderful
I've seen
exercise.
3 of my own movies. I'm going to go see somebody else's.
Really? Why don't you go see your own movies?
Well, usually I don't have time, or I just don't feel like it.
Yeah? Do you think you'd be discouraged by what you saw, or you would want to correct everything?
Well, obviously, if I didn't go. I mean, maybe they weren't 3 of my most favorite movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Getting back to the in shape thing, though, you jog a lot.
I used to jog, but it's really bad for women to start jogging. Jogging's not good for women. I really, truly believe this. My doctor believes this, and a lot of, Americans are really into jogging, and a lot of doctors are finding out that it's really hurting a lot of ladies, because we're just not built for that constant pounding. And I've really hurt my knee, and it won't be fixed unless I have surgery, which is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
So I hike now. I love hiking, because as long as
With
you
the
just...
boots and all that, the hiking?
Well, you don't have to have boots. I use jogging shoes, but I climb over rocks and through canyons and gullies, and you get a lot of exercise, but you're not jarring your knee and your body and all your insides by pounding on running around.
But yet you're a tennis player, too, though.
Yes,
Champion,
I can't
they
quit.
tell me, a champion.
Well, I can't quit tennis. I love it.
Yeah.
I love tennis. I play every day.
So do I. I have a court in my backyard. You wouldn't be interested in coming over and...
At night?
I have lights.
Oh, yeah?
I have lights. I have everything. I have 27 musicians would hold up candles.
raining.
I don't care. It's raining, is it? I'll give you a slicker you can wear and hit the tennis ball if it's raining. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk to you some more. Will you stay here with us? Okay,
Sure.
we'll be right back with more Valerie Perrine in just a minute. Perrine, Perrine. Thank you very much. Welcome back. We're talking to the beautiful Valerie Perrine. There seems to be some sort of controversy that's been stirred up about Superman 2. Now, you played the villain, Gene Hackman's girlfriend, the villain's girlfriend in Superman, the movie. And there's some hold-up on Superman 2 or something, or some problem with it. Were you supposed to be in Superman 2 as well?
Oh, I've done it already. I did it about 5 years ago, whenever we did
Why
one.
haven't they released the movie? What seems to be the problem? I think that means she doesn't know. I think. All right, well, I won't talk about that anymore then. We'll talk
Good
about something
idea.
else. Yeah, all right.
Maybe the Salkins are holding out for more money somehow or another, you know.
Well, I don't know. I have
I
no
don't know.
idea. I'm only simply
It
asking.
really is political. I don't know what it is. It's not coming out?
Well, that's what we heard. We heard there was a whole big controversy that they were not going to let the movie was not going to be released, and it was being held up. And
They did that on 1.
did they?
Sure.
Well, now they're doing it on 2.
Oh, boy, those rich men.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah, they just want some more money, I guess.
Yeah, could be them. You're being a dancer and everything, of course. I remember you first, as most people would, for a brilliant performance, of course, which got your nomination for Lenny, working with Dustin Hoffman. Now, that was the story of Lenny Bruce, and a pretty heavy part. What kind of research did you have to do to play that Lady Honey? I don't know if a lot of people remember or not, but she was a pretty complicated lady as well as he was.
Well, you know, Dustin said something when he won the Oscar this year that was really very true, that in every actor there exists about 20 different people. Whether or not you've lived that life or not, maybe you've read it somewhere, you've seen it in a movie, and it's registered in the back of your mind. And I guess somewhere in my heart there existed this tramp.
No.
Because she was pretty tacky, but I didn't do a lot of research. I worked in Vegas for a long time, so I, of course, ran into hookers. But she wasn't that high class of a hooker, honey. She was a real tramp. And I'd never met a lesbian. So, and I wasn't about to go running around looking for them to do research on the movie.
No,
so I relied
that's
a lot.
really researching. That would be, yes, right.
I relied a lot on Bob Fosse and just gut instinct of what a woman who had
Lived.
more than that, who had never gotten it together. I mean, I fantasized what it must have been like, and it was sort of interesting.
But that was your first real feature role, wasn't it?
Slaughterhouse-Five is my favorite first. That was
it,
my
yeah?
very first time I was in front of a camera.
Yeah, but I mean, this one here was really a heavy feature. I mean, enough to
Yeah.
get you a nomination. That must have surprised you after you wouldn't have expected that you would go right into a part that would get you a nomination like that right away.
The part, it thrilled me, but once I started filming it, I knew. And you know, I knew I wasn't going to win the nomination, but I had a feeling I'd win at Cannes. I just knew it was the kind of film that the Cannes Film Festival would like.
When it's a heavy role like that, does it affect you personally? Do you go away with that thing in you? I know, I read something about
I'd
Dustin.
like to say I didn't, but I did. I
Yeah?
did. It affected me, yeah. I got into it so much that I almost got into it. You know, I almost took it home with me. I ended up drinking a lot after
wow,
yeah, it was very strange. And I'd call Bob Fosse and I'd be very depressed, and it would be the middle of the night, and he'd say, "Valerie, you're not Honey anymore. Come back.
Yeah, you.
Come back." Yeah.
I was reading an article on Dustin Hoffman because he was the star of that picture, and he was saying that it takes, he even goes so far as to change his diet so he becomes whatever it is he has to become. If he has to be slovenly, he eats a lot of junk food because it affects his system that way, you know?
Yeah. I started drinking, and, you know, that just isn't my, I mean, I just got into a trip. I didn't come out of Honey for about 6 months after I finished filming.
Got to be pretty scary.
Yeah. I'm certainly not looking forward to playing a downtrodden, of course, see, we were on that film 5 months. So when you play that character for that long.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Can I